The march ends in Tlaxcala. The survivors enter the city like ghosts. Armor hangs loose and broken. Clothes are ripped, stained with blood and mud. Faces are hollow, eyes staring into nothing. Some men collapse at the gates. Others fall onto mats with food still in their hands. The Tlaxcalans rush to meet them. Women grind maize late into the night, pressing tortillas into the hands of starving men. Healers carry bundles of herbs, binding wounds with cloth and ash. Old men lead the survivors to shelter, shaking their heads at the sight. Children hide at first, peeking from doorways, whispering that these are not conquerors but shadows of men. Cortés orders account of the survivors. Names are called one by one. The silence after each missing name strikes harder than any wound. Of the Spaniards, fewer than half remain. Of the Tlaxcalans, entire families are gone, slain on the causeways or sacrificed in the temples. Bernal Diaz speaks to those gathered. We live because of Tlaxcala. Without them, not a man among us would stand here. That night, cries echo through the houses. Some men wake screaming, thrashing as if drowning again. Others mutter curses at the gold, blaming it for the death of their comrades. Horses limp through the streets, ribs sharp beneath their hides. A few are saved, fed carefully with maize and grass. Others are killed and butchered, their meat shared among starving soldiers. The smell of blood mixes with the smell of cooking. The Tlaxcalans mourn as well. Mothers weep for sons who never returned. Fathers smear ashes on their heads in grief, yet even in sorrow they give. Women carry food to the Spaniards, sometimes crying as they hand it over, knowing their own families go hungry. Some soldiers break in despair. A man throws down his sword, cursing Cortés. You promised us riches. Look at us now, starving and broken. He is silenced by others, but the anger is clear. Another soldier clenches his fists and swears, I will not stop until Tenochtitlan burns. Cortés moves among the men. He kneels by the wounded, presses food into their hands, and speaks in a low, steady voice. Eat, rest, heal. This is not the end. We will rise again. At his order, a mass is held. A priest lifts the cross and prays for the dead. The Spaniards kneel in silence, many weeping. Nearby, Tlaxcalan priests burn incense and chant their own rites of mourning. Two worlds side by side, bound now by shared suffering. Alvarado, scarred and bitter, mutters as he watches Tlaxcalan women feed soldiers. They give us life, even after we let them into death. The survivors bury their dead together. Spaniards and Tlaxcalans laid in the same earth. Flowers and crosses mark the graves. For a moment, silence falls over the camp. In Tlaxcala, a broken army begins to breathe again. Rest brings food and healing, but also anger. In the camp, voices rise. Soldiers argue over rations. Some blame Pedro de Alvarado for the massacre at the festival that brought Tenochtitlan down on them. Others curse Cortés, spitting that his ambition has led them all to ruin. One soldier throws down a rusted breastplate and shouts, We should march back to the coast, find ships, end this madness before none of us remain. His words echo what many whisper in secret. Cortés calls the captains together. He stands before them in battered armor, his face gaunt from hunger, but his eyes burning. His voice is steady, hard. Yes, we were defeated, but not destroyed. Listen well, Tenochtitlan will be ours again. You did not survive La Noche Triste, only to die here. The men stare in silence. Some believe, others doubt. Cortés turns to Alvarado. His words cut without shouting. The city fell on us because of rashness. That mistake will not happen again. Alvarado's jaw tightens. His eyes flash with anger, but he does not answer. He lowers his head, silent. Sandoval speaks up instead, his voice firm. Our captain is right. We march when he says march. Cortés then addresses the Tlaxcalan council. He bows his head first, showing respect. His words are measured. You have lost thousands. We have lost half our number. Yet hear me. The Mexica are not unbroken. They bled at Otumba. They can be beaten. If you stand with us, together we will finish them. The council debates fiercely. Some elders rise in anger. You brought ruin to our land. Why should we feed you still? Why should our sons die for you? Others strike back. If we cast them out, the Mexica will destroy us. Only together can we survive. The hall shakes with their voices. Cortés waits until the shouting dies. Then he leans forward, voice sharp as steel. Choose, stand with me, and Tenochtitlan will fall. Abandon me, and it will be your blood that waters their temples next. Silence follows. At last, the elders nod. Despite grief, despite doubt, Tlaxcala holds to the alliance. The decision spreads through the camp. The Tlaxcalans open their homes wider, pledge warriors, and bring maize to the Spaniards. The men breathe easier, though the memory of loss remains. Bernal Diaz looks at the council house and mutters, Had they turned from us, our story would have ended here. Cortés has done what seemed impossible. In a city of grief, among soldiers near mutiny and allies near betrayal, he seizes control again. Cortés does not waste time. Once the army begins to heal, he sends envoys out from Tlaxcala. Messengers carry gifts and promises to the towns that had once joined him, and to those that had stood aside. Each letter is sealed with the royal arms of Spain. Each envoy speaks the same words: stand with us now, or face the Mexica alone later. Some allies return quickly. They remember the tribute once demanded by Tenochtitlan, the years of war and hunger. They bring maize, warriors, and guides, eager to strike at their old enemy. Others hesitate. They hear rumors from the valley that the Spaniards were crushed, that Moctezuma is dead, that La Noche Triste proved the gods had turned against them. Some refuse outright, fearing the Mexica's vengeance. Bernal Diaz listens as news comes back and says, Every day we learned who feared the Mexica more, and who hated them enough to risk all. The Tlaxcalans stand firm. Their council pledges full support even after their losses. Warriors gather again in the plazas, spears in hand, shields painted with the emblems of their clans. Their leaders speak to the Spaniards. We bled with you. We will bleed again, until the Mexica are dust. Cortés rewards this loyalty with promises. When Tenochtitlan falls, your people will be free of tribute forever. No emperor will ever claim you again. His words spread through Tlaxcala like fire, filling the air with resolve. Yet not all is unity. Some Spaniards whisper that the allies cannot be trusted, that they wait only for the Spaniards to weaken before abandoning them. Cortés silences such talk. They stand with us now, and we will honor them. Without them, we are nothing. Envoys return day after day, some with food, others with silence, a few with refusals. Cortés studies each report carefully, making notes of who can be trusted and who will have to be broken later. The army is not whole yet, but the web of allies begins to grow again. Word spreads through Tlaxcala. Ships have landed on the coast. 200 men march inland, bringing muskets, crossbows, powder, steel, and horses. To the survivors, it feels like a miracle. When the reinforcements arrive, the plazas fill with noise. Veterans line the streets to watch. The newcomers stride in proudly, armor polished, clothes whole, faces untouched by hunger or war. Bernal Diaz mutters bitterly, "They look as we once looked, before Tenochtitlan broke us." The fresh arrivals whisper to each other, some mocking what they see. One sneers, "Is this what remains of Cortés's army? Beggars, not soldiers." A scarred veteran steps forward, slamming his fist against his dented breastplate. "This armor carried me through the causeways. Wait until you face the lake at night, then speak of war." The tension rises. Words cut sharp. Hands reach for hilts. Tlaxcalan warriors watch in silence, ready to see if the Spaniards will fight among themselves. Cortés steps between them. His voice is sharp, his presence like a blade. "You came not for plunder, but for war. Those who served Narvaez now serve me, not Cuba. Those who came for gold will earn it only through blood. If any man doubts, he may turn back to the coast." The square falls silent. No one moves. The challenge stands unanswered. Supplies are brought out. Powder is counted grain by grain. Muskets and crossbows are handed to the survivors. Armor is patched with new steel. Veterans polish their weapons with cloth as if remaking themselves. The horses draw the most attention. Strong and sleek, they step into the plaza, their hooves striking stone. The veterans reach out to touch their manes, reverent. Alvarado nods once and says, "With these, we strike harder next time." The Tlaxcalans murmur. One elder says aloud, "Your numbers grow, but numbers are not courage." That night, Cortés gathers all together veterans, newcomers, Tlaxcalans in the center of the plaza. He raises his sword. "We are one army. No matter when you came, no matter what you have seen, you now share the same fate. Our enemy waits in Tenochtitlan, and we will return." The cheer that follows is ragged, thin, but real. Veterans lift swords, newcomers pound their shields, Tlaxcalans shout their war cries. For the first time since La Noche Triste, the army feels whole again. Later, in private, Cortés meets with his captains. A map is spread across the floor, lit by torchlight. He points at the valley. "We rebuild, we gather allies, we build ships, and then we close our hand around the city." A veteran growls, "Gold drowned my brothers. I want no treasure, only vengeance." A newcomer grins. "Then I will take the gold they dropped." A Tlaxcalan warrior spits on the ground. "Gold means nothing. Blood is the price." Cortés silences them all with a single look. "Enough. Speak only of victory." And in that moment, divided voices bend into one. Cortés knows the truth. Tenochtitlan cannot be taken without the lake. The Mexica canoes rule the waters, and no army on foot can withstand them. He gathers his captains and the Tlaxcalan leaders. "We will build ships," Cortés declares. "War boats that can hunt their canoes and strike at the city itself. With them, the lake will be ours." The veterans murmur among themselves. Some doubt the idea. Others remember the night of their retreat, the canoes swarming them in the dark, and nod grimly. The task falls to Martin Lopez, a shipwright who had come with the reinforcements. He sketches the frames in the dust, showing how the vessels will be built in pieces, carried over the mountains, and reassembled on the lake. "Give me wood and iron," he says, "and I will give you wings on the water." Work begins at once. The forests of Tlaxcala echo with the sound of axes. Pines crash to the earth, stripped and hauled to the city. Carpenters hammer planks and shape beams. Nails and rigging are taken from the ships on the coast. Bernal Diaz watches the work and shakes his head in wonder. "I never thought I would see ships rise in the mountains, but without them, the city will never fall." The Tlaxcalans give their full strength. Warriors haul timbers on their shoulders. Women carry food to the workers. Children bring bundles of rope and kindling for the forges. Even the elders lend their hands, sharpening tools and weaving lines. Alvarado walks among the growing frames. "Let them laugh," he mutters. "Soon these ships will choke their lake." Months pass. The sound of saws, hammers, and chisels fills Tlaxcala. Slowly, 13 brigantines take shape, broad, strong, and deadly. The Tlaxcalan leaders stand before them and say, "Our forests now carry your war to the water." Cortés places his hand on the first finished hull. "Here is the blade that will cut the city in two." The men look on, weary but proud. They know the day these ships sail, the fate of Tenochtitlan will be decided. Months of work in Tlaxcala restore the army. The wounded recover, new supplies arrive, and the brigantines rise from the forests. But Cortés knows weapons and numbers are not enough. The men need unity, a vow to bind Spaniards and Tlaxcalans together. He calls them into the main plaza. The frames of the brigantines tower nearby. Crosses are raised, incense burns, smoke curling into the night. Cortés steps forward. "We bled on the causeways, but we did not die. Now we are stronger. Look around you, new men, new weapons, and allies who have given their blood. We will return to Tenochtitlan, and we will not leave until the city is ours." A Tlaxcalan warrior shouts, "We swore to fight until the Mexica fall." That oath stands. Alvarado raises his sword. "We ran once, never again. Next time, we take the city or die on its stones." Sandoval calls out, "Our brothers wait in the earth. We march to honor them." The Tlaxcalan leaders add their voices. "Our people have paid tribute too long. We fight until the Mexica are ended." The crowd roars as one. Swords and spears lift into the firelight. The vow is clear. They will return, and this time, they will not retreat. Cortés looks on veterans, newcomers, and Tlaxcalans standing together. For this moment, there are no divisions, only one army, one oath. As night falls, the brigantines stand silent and waiting. When they touch the lake, the war for Tenochtitlan will begin again.